Integrated Marketing Communications. The chapters provide an overview of integrated marketing communications. It is a highly competitive and global marketplace, and firms are looking for ways to stand out. Brands are looking for means to become a part of customers' evoked sets. Companies have a wide variety of media from which to choose, both traditional and non-traditional. Because customers are bombarded with so many marketing messages, it is vital for a company to stand out with a clear, consistent, and integrated message. The traditional marketing mix consists of product, price, promotion, and distribution. Traditionally, the promotion component consisted of advertising, sales promotions, and personal selling. Today, it has expanded to include database marketing, direct response marketing, sponsorship marketing, digital marketing, social media, alternative marketing, and public relations. The venues for reaching consumers have increased beyond advertising. In understanding integrated marketing communications, it helps to review the steps in a marketing plan. The current situational analysis and SWOT set the stage for setting marketing objectives and choosing the target market. Once these are set, the marketing person can develop strategies and tactics. IMC will be part of the overall marketing strategy to reach consumers. It will also be part of the tactics, which are the plans for achieving the objectives and carrying out the strategies. Implementation and evaluation conclude the marketing planning process. With global competition has come a greater scrutiny of advertising and marketing budgets. This has led to a greater emphasis on accountability of expenditures and measurable results. The drive for measurable results is one of the factors that has led to the explosion of the digital arena, which includes social media. Measuring the impact of digital expenditures is easier than for traditional advertising. Because consumers now access information from smartphones, tablets, and other media platforms, companies must integrate their marketing communications across all platforms. With greater access to information, consumers have considerably more channel power. With the rise of the internet, competition now comes from the entire world. This global competition has increased the level of brand parity now seen across most product categories. To decrease brand parity and build some brand equity, brands are putting greater emphasis on customer engagement. Companies want ad agencies and marketing officers to be accountable for their expenditures. CEOs, CFOs, and CMOs want measurable results that show us the proof that the $50 million ad campaign is working and will translate into sales. In the past, once an ad agency was hired, they stayed with a client for a number of years because they knew the brand. Now, companies want results. If not, then a new agency will be chosen. With the rise in popularity of social media, there is less reliance on mass TV advertising. Agencies continue to explore alternative ways of reaching consumers where it is less cluttered than mass media. Alternative media has become the new buzz phrase in advertising, especially online. The internet provides an interactivity with consumers. Websites, blogs, and social networks all provide two-way communications. Smartphones are replacing cell phones, so consumers now have the internet with them at all times, increasing the ways and means of reaching them. As a result, companies are shifting dollars from traditional media to digital media. Consumers now spend more time with non-television screens than they do watching TV. Research by Ipsos OTX identified 4 ways that consumers interact with multiple media formats. Content grazing involves looking at 2 or more screens simultaneously to access different content. Investigative spider webbing occurs when consumers pursue specific content across multiple platforms. Quantum journey focuses on completing a specific task across multiple platforms. Social spider webbing occurs when consumers share content across multiple devices. Channel power has changed and is continuing to change. For the first 60 or so years in the 1900s, channel power resided with the manufacturers, such as Procter & Gamble. It then shifted to retailers, especially large chain retailers like Walmart. Retailers controlled shelf space, had purchase data, and determined what products and brands went on the shelves. Consumers had to buy whatever brands a retailer stocked. Power is now beginning to shift to consumers, primarily because consumers do not have to purchase from the local retail store. They have options. Retailers who realize this are providing multiple ways for consumers to purchase and receive products. Advances in communication technology have led to the rise of global competition. Every business competes in some way with global firms, either directly or indirectly, either for customers or for supplies. Products can be purchased from multiple locations. As a result, the level of competition has increased, and the prices of products have fallen. The challenge businesses now face is that consumers want it all. They want the lower prices created by global competition, but they also want quality. To provide this to consumers, manufacturers and retailers must work together. They must become partners with mutual goals that benefit both parties. With brand parity, consumers see the brands as about equal in quality and attributes. Rather than having one brand that is viewed as being superior, consumers often have a group of brands they feel are equal and would meet their needs. As a result, in brand parity situations, quality and characteristics become less important since these are viewed as being equal. That makes price often the determining factor. The rise in brand parity has led to a decline in brand loyalty. With the increase in brand parity and the decline in brand loyalty, companies have placed greater emphasis on customer engagement. Contact points between customers and the product are examined in an effort to improve communication and the relationship. Digital media is now a critical component of IMC plans because it provides two-way communication. It is no longer sufficient to talk to customers, you must develop a dialogue with customers. The goal, a deeper emotional commitment on the part of consumers towards the brand. Because of the increase in global competition, firms must coordinate marketing efforts across multiple countries. Because of cultural differences and language differences, it is a greater challenge. Firms can use a standardized approach, which means the same approach and message is used in every global market. This works only for global brands that are worldwide and well known. An alternative is adaptation, which means firms adapt their marketing communications to each country, region, and culture. The idea is to think globally, but act locally. Brand. Brand image is made up of everything a company does, has, and is. It includes tangible and intangible elements. Tangible elements can be observed. In addition to the goods and services that are sold, tangible elements include the retail outlets where the products are sold and the factories where the products are made. Advertising, promotions, and other forms of communications all reflect the image of a brand. Certainly the brand name and logo convey a specific message. Packaging protects products, and labels provide information about the product inside. The last tangible elements are the employees. What they say about a company influences consumers. On the intangible side are policies of the company in dealing with employees and other publics. Ideas and beliefs espoused by corporate personnel become part of the image. Even the culture and location of the company are important. Lastly, media reports can enhance or harm a company's image depending on what is communicated. From a consumer's perspective, brand image serves several important functions. It provides positive assurance about a brand and what can be expected. It is especially helpful in unfamiliar settings, such as on a vacation or a trip, and when the consumer has very little previous experience. A well-known brand or company becomes a safer purchase choice. In shopping, a strong brand image can save search time. Consumers do not have to evaluate several brands. They can just choose the one they feel is the best, based on brand image. A strong brand name provides psychological reinforcement to consumers that they made a wise purchase decision, and it also provides social acceptance with other people. Having a strong brand image also benefits a company. It allows for the extension of new products. In most cases, the feelings and image that consumers have about the brand will transfer to the new product. Because of the strong image, a company can price its products higher. Customers are willing to pay the higher price and become more loyal as well. They also tend to purchase more frequently and often generate positive word-of-mouth communications. In terms of the distribution channel, a strong brand name allows a company to have greater channel power. Because consumers purchase the company's products, retailer and other channel members will want to stock it. Even employees and potential employees are attracted to good companies. They want to be associated with the firm. Lastly, it provides more favorable ratings with investors. Logos and corporate names should meet 4 tests. First, they should be easily recognizable. Second, they should be names and symbols that are familiar to people. Third, the meaning should be consensual, that is, everyone who sees the logo or hears the name has similar thoughts and ideas. This process of having shared meanings across consumers is called stimulus codability. This helps especially in global markets, but is difficult to achieve across national boundaries. Fourth, the logo and name should evoke positive feelings. Brands can be placed into 3 major categories. Family brands are a group of related products sold under one name. The primary advantage of using a family brand is transferring associations to new products. Brand extensions involve suing an established brand name on products or services not related to the core brand. An example would be Black & Decker putting its brand name on appliances. Flanker brands involve the development of a new brand sold in the same category as another product. Procter & Gamble offers a number of brands within a category, such as laundry detergent or body wash. Hallmark sells a cheaper version of greeting cards, shoebox greetings. The goal of flanker brands is to capture a bigger market share without cannibalizing current brands. Creating or changing logos takes careful consideration. It requires knowledge and expertise in logo design and an understanding that the logo is a reflection of the brand. It is best to use professional designers. The temptation is for a business owner to do it himself using a graphics design package. Logos should be simple. They also should be transferable across multiple mediums. Colors are very symbolic and convey various meanings. This slide provides information on various colors and what they tend to mean in American culture. The meaning varies widely across other cultures and in other countries. While consumers may not consciously think about the color in a logo and what it means, there may be a subconscious attachment between the color and these meanings. Developing strong brands begins by understanding why consumers buy a brand. On this slide are typical questions that can be asked of a client to measure the current position of a brand and to help an agency understand the current position of a brand. Building powerful brands requires a marketing commitment. Companies must be willing to invest money in the brand, which starts with creating awareness. However, awareness alone will not build a strong brand. Strong brands offer some type of authenticity or uniqueness. They deliver value and a positive consumer experience that result in consumer, or B2B, trust. Today's brands must be savvy about using social media and incorporating mobile phones, smartphones. Consumers also want companies to act socially responsible. Brand loyalty is the ultimate goal of building powerful brands. With brand loyalty, consumers purchase only that specific brand regardless of the effort necessary. They are not willing to substitute another brand. Drivers of brand loyalty are an emotional connection and value. Brand loyalty goes beyond functional attributes. Brand parity is when consumers see very few differences among brands. Brand equity is a set of characteristics that makes a brand unique. Brand equity helps fight brand parity situations because the brand is perceived as being better. Brand metrics, which measure the return on branding investments, are used to measure brand equity. 4 primary methods are used. Financial value estimates the cash flow of a brand based on its unique strengths and characteristics. Stock market value uses stock evaluations to measure brand equity. With the revenue premium approach, a brand is compared to a generic brand within the product category. Consumer value attempts to measure brand equity based on input from consumers. For an interesting look at the value of global brands, be sure to view Interbrand.com. The popularity of private brands has fluctuated over the years. In the past, private labels were seen as low-priced, low-quality goods. Historically, only price-sensitive consumers purchased private brands. Because of the higher gross margins on private brands, retailers began investing into their private brands. As a result, 72% of consumers today see private brands as being equivalent to manufacturers' brands. Private labels are attractive to retail stores for a number of reasons. Because the retailer owns the private label, the gross margins earned per product are higher than on manufacturers' labels. This means the retailer can lower the price of the private label and still make more money. It also makes the private label attractive to customers. With increased brand parity, consumers have become more loyal to stores and less loyal to national brands, which benefits the retailer and private labels. For instance, JCPenney offers more than 30 private label apparel lines, which accounts for 40% of sales in the apparel category. Because of the benefits of private labels, retailers are investing more dollars into advertising and marketing. Often the ads do not tell consumers it is a private brand. In many cases, consumers do not know which brand is owned by the retailer, a private brand, and which one is owned by a manufacturer, national brand. The importance of packaging should never be overlooked. It is the final opportunity to make an impression. Research has shown that 69% of purchase decisions are made in the store. This means packaging can be influential in the final purchase decision. Research has further shown that a package has 3 seconds to catch someone's attention. Therefore, it needs to stand out. It needs to tell customers what is inside, or why they should look inside. A primary purpose of packaging is to protect the product. It also should provide for easy shipping, moving, and handling of the product from the manufacturer to the retailer. It should provide for easy placement on store shelves. For many products, the package should prevent or reduce theft and tampering. Packaging must meet consumer needs for speed, convenience, and portability. Lastly, packaging should communicate a marketing message that resonates with buyers and is integrated with the marketing of the product. Thus everything involving the brand from advertising to packaging is speaking with one voice. Marketers can face some ethical issues in the area of brand management. First, brand infringement occurs when a company takes a brand name that is very similar to a current, successful, and popular brand. Victoria's Secret was a brand infringement on the brand Victoria's Secret. Second, sometimes brand names become the generic term for the product category, such as Xerox and Band-Aids. More recently, the term Google has gained generic status. The last ethical issue is domain or cyber squatting, which is the purchase of website domains that individuals know are or will be valuable to a business or person. The reason for purchasing the domain is to be able to sell it for a high price later. Buyer behavior. Understanding how and why consumers and businesses make purchases is important in developing integrated marketing communications. The consumer decision-making process involves 5 steps. The first step is problem recognition. It involves a consumer recognizing he or she needs something, has run out of something. The ability to search for information determines the extent of the information search process. Ability consists of a person's educational level combined with their knowledge of the product and brands. Educated individuals tend to search for more information and spend more time searching than individuals with less education. Knowledge of products and brands has an inverted U-shaped curve. Individuals with little knowledge of a product category or brands tend not to search for information, primarily because they do not know where or how to search for information. They don't know the product category well enough to know what to look for. At the other extreme, individuals with a great deal of knowledge spend less time searching since they already possess the knowledge. The group that spends the most time searching is in the middle. They have some knowledge, so they have an idea of what to look for and what to ask, but not enough knowledge to make a decision. The level of motivation has an impact on the amount of time spent in external search. Motivation is determined by involvement, cognition, and shopping enthusiasm. The higher the level of involvement, the more time a consumer will spend in searching for additional information. The need for cognition is the level of mental activity a person enjoys. People who have a high need for cognition, that is, they want to think about options before making a decision, will spend more time searching for information. Some people want to weigh every option and make sure they are right, so this need to consider all angles will lengthen the search process. The last motivating factor is the person's enthusiasm for shopping. Individuals who enjoy shopping and comparing brands will spend more time than individuals who like shopping. Consumers will weigh the cost versus the benefits of an external search. There are the actual costs to search, such as driving to the mall to look at various brands. Then there is the cost of the product. If a particular brand is purchased and the consumer doesn't like it, that money is basically lost. So for high-cost items, there is more pressure to search to make sure the right decision is made. Then there are subjective costs, the amount of time spent and the anxiety involved. For most people, time is valuable. Yet, if the purchase decision causes anxiety, then spending more time searching for information is worth it to reduce the anxiety and ensure the right decision is made. The last consideration is opportunity cost. Once the purchase is made, the consumer forgoes the alternatives. The higher the perceived costs to search for information, the less consumers will search. Alternatively, the higher the perceived benefit in gathering additional information, the more time a person will spend searching. Consumer attitude can be impacted by effective marketing communications. Attitude is the mental position a person takes towards a topic, person, or an event that influences an individual's feelings, perceptions, learning processes, and behaviors. Attitude consists of 3 components. Affective is the feeling and emotional part of attitude. Cognitive is the individual's knowledge, understanding, and interpretation of a topic, person, or thing. Connotative are an individual's intentions, actions, or behavior. In terms of influencing or changing consumer attitudes, marketers have 3 options. The most common sequence is to first impact a person's cognitive beliefs and knowledge about a product, then develop emotions and feelings for the brand, which then results in purchasing the product. The second sequence begins with affective, the feelings and emotions. The marketing message is designed to elicit an emotional response followed by the purchase action. Then once the person has tried the product, he or she will make judgments about it. The third sequence begins with the conative. The idea is to get the person to try it. Food items and other low-cost products often use this approach. After trying a product, a person will develop thoughts about it and then decide if he or she likes it or not. Feelings follow the knowledge. The sequence determines the content and how an ad is designed. Ads aimed at the affective component will look different than ads designed to impact the cognitive or conative component of attitude. Attitudes reflect an individual's personal values. Values are strongly held beliefs about various topics and concepts. Values frame attitudes and guide personal actions. This is a list of some of the primary values individuals hold. The strength of the value will determine a person's attitude and actions. Individuals who value and crave excitement will have different attitudes and make different purchase decisions than people who value mature love, wisdom, or personal accomplishment. In designing marketing messages, creatives need to consider personal values and how products can help an individual obtain the values being sought. Consumer behavior is a moving target and always changing because people change and culture changes. The environment and economy changes, forcing changes in the way consumers purchase products. These trends have impacted consumer behavior in recent years and are expected to modify future buyer behaviors. Age complexity refers to children growing up at a much faster rate and becoming involved in purchasing products which in the past were for teenagers and adults. At the other end of the spectrum, older consumers refuse to get old, purchasing products of younger generations. Gender complexity refers to the merging of the gender roles in occupations, products, and family relationships. Individualism refers to consumer desires to be treated as individuals and wanting products that are made specifically for them. They don't want to be like everyone else. Today's consumers lead active and busy lifestyles and want goods and services that cater to that lifestyle. Cocooning refers to the desire to stay at home, to build relationships with family and friends. With the pressures of life, there is a trend for people to enjoy an occasional pleasure pursuit as a reward. Finally, with an aging population there has been a growing emphasis on health and products that promote good health and that treat health problems. Understanding consumer buyer behavior trends is important. Companies need to respond to these changes in buying behaviors. The first step is to monitor the consumer environment and note especially any changes in patterns of behavior. The second step is to create goods and services that are compatible with these changes. Third, marketing messages that reflect these changes should be designed. This ad for St. Francis North Hospital focuses on the emphasis people now place on health. In the business-to-business sector, people still make purchase decisions. The process that is used is different, which means marketers will have to use a different approach. Often more than one person is involved in the decision. Further, corporate policies can restrict decisions and decision rules can affect purchase activities. Factors such as costs, quality, and profit margins will also influence the decision. In many business purchase decisions, a buying center concept is present. It usually is not an official group, but individuals play various roles in the buying center. Each role can have more than one person, and one person can serve in more than one role. Users are the members of the organization that actually use the good or service. Buyers are the individuals who have formal responsibility for making the purchase. Influencers are individuals who shape the decision by providing information or criteria used in the decision process. Deciders are people who authorize purchase decisions. Gatekeepers control the flow of information to members of the buying center. Marketing to a business involves understanding these roles and locating the individuals within a business organization that have these roles. Because members of the buying center are people, there are a number of individual factors that influence the buying process. The buying center becomes a very complex social organization when a number of people become involved in buying decisions. Personalities, ambitions, and personal agendas may cause conflict and tension. When individuals' jobs are affected, they tend to become more involved. People derive their level of power from official and unofficial roles within an organization. The more power an individual has, the more he or she will be involved. Roles may be defined by the buying center and the impact the decision has on an individual's personal performance. Risk and the attitude towards risk is important. A risk-averse person will seek a safe path and may want to stay with the current vendor. Levels of involvement will vary. The higher the level of involvement, the more questions individuals will ask and the more active they will be in the process. Individuals who have a high level of cognition will spend more time asking questions and talking. The last factor is personal objectives. Individuals may act within a buying center in such a way that will promote individual objectives over company objectives, but in a way that is not noticed by others. The first step in the B2B buying process is the identification of needs. It may be a need for raw materials, or a new vehicle, or even new land. Step 2 is to establish objectives. It is important to do this before vendors are contacted to ensure the decision is unbiased. Step 3 involves identifying possible vendors or sending out a request for proposals. Once vendors have submitted bids, evaluation begins. Members of the buying center will screen out vendors who do meet the specifications. Depending on the size of the bid, this process of evaluation may take just a few hours to several weeks. Once the vendor has been selected, terms are negotiated. Evaluation of the vendor then occurs after the purchase. With business purchases, it often becomes a continuous process with repeat orders, the straight or B situation. The business-to-business buying process is very similar to the individual buying process. Both have a problem recognition that starts the process. Information search for individuals is similar to establishing objectives and identifying vendors in the B2B. Both processes involve an evaluation of alternatives. The purchase decision in the consumer process is split into vendor selection and purchase negotiations for businesses. Finally, both involve a post-purchase evaluation stage. Dual-channel marketing involves selling products to both consumer and business markets. The process often begins with the B2B market. Individuals like a brand they are using at work and purchase the brand for personal use, which is spin-off sales. It may be the brand of computer, vehicle, or cell phone. The challenge for marketers is should they market both channels the same way, or should they be different? There are also image issues to consider. Dual-channel marketing requires one of three approaches based on how the product is purchased and used. 1. The same brand is sold in both markets, but the communication messages are different. This often requires having different marketing plans. 2. A second approach is to create different brand names and a different marketing plan for each brand. With this approach involves two totally separate approaches and is motivated by the idea that the consumer and business markets are not compatible. 3. With the last approach multiple or different channels of distribution are used for the consumer market and B2B market. In most cases, this approach involves different brands as well. Buyer behaviors vary widely around the world. A cultural assimilator is a valuable person to have on staff to assist in marketing plans for other countries. It is important to understand the purchase process. The way products are purchased in the US is not the same as it is in Japan, Brazil, or other parts of the world. Having a strong brand name helps with global expansion. Even for B2B markets, global brands are important.